Please raise your right hand.
I do swear that I will well and truly serve our sovereign country and state as a police officer,
without favor or affection, malice or ill will, until I am legally discharged.
That I will see and cause our community's peace to be kept and preserved.
And that I will prevent, to the best of my power, all offenses against that peace.
And that while I continue to be a police officer, I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge,
discharge all the duties thereof,
faithfully, according to law.
So help me God.
Have you ever experienced police brutality or harassment?
Yes, I've experienced police harassment on several occasions.
Tell me about it.
The one that bothered me the most was in the summertime. I was walking to go see a friend. I was about to get on the bus, and I had on shorts and a tank top. And the police officer, he stopped me. He was in the car, and the questions he asked me made me really uncomfortable. Like, he was making like sexual faces at me, and he was asking me, where was I going dressed like that? Did my parents know where I was going? Am I going to see a guy? He was asking really personal, inappropriate questions, and it bothered me a lot.
I guess on a pretty regular basis, I experience like street harassment from police officers in the same way that like a lot of women experience street harassment from like civilian men. It's kind of like an extra element of power because not only are they usually men, but they're also armed and like have a badge. So like if they were to do anything to me, like it's my word against theirs.
I didn't know what was going to happen if I didn't answer his questions, or if I would have ignored him and kept walking, he could have stopped and put me in the car. Anything could have happened because he was by himself.
Several times I have experienced police harassment. Most of the times I was in a vehicle driving and I was pulled over, searched for no reason. I've been told I look like someone that they're looking for. I fit the description of a person. I actually been arrested. Me and my cousin was arrested back in like '02 for an incident, a shooting incident that we had nothing to do with. We wasn't even in the area, and we was arrested for that. Yeah, I actually did feel my life was in danger because guns was pulled out on me. Me and my cousin, we was put to the ground. Guns put to our heads. I mean, it was crazy.
There is no justice for Mike Brown tonight, and there won't be justice for the hundreds of thousands of Mike Browns around this country. Right.
As a protester, like there's a lot of police repression, and like cops try to, you know, frighten you into not protesting. They videotape you, they follow you around certain events and things like that. We were protesting police brutality, and a cop, he fell on me in the, I guess, the heat of everything that was going on. He fell off his bike on top of me, and the cop who fell on me, he got up and picked his bike up and like hit me over my entire body with his bike. And then a bunch of other police officers came closer to kind of like zero in on my body. When my friend saw me there, he grabbed me and like pulled me away from them, and saving potentially my life, because like we've seen these things on camera, we've seen them happen all the time, especially at protests where cops just brutalize people. It's kind of like a duh moment, because like I'm out there protesting police brutality and then the cops brutalize me. Almost to showcase like, see, this is what you people do. Like, this is why we're out here, and you're just proving us like right. But on the other hand, it's kind of like this sense of being ashamed, because like I'm a human and they're human. Like, and you know, like it's men out there that's old enough to be my father. Would they do this to their daughter? Like if she was out here doing the same thing, protesting against something that was like this terrible, like the police is supposed to protect you.
Personally, I think whoever raised them is to blame, because we act on how we're raised. I was raised in a very humble home, whereas though we're taught to be appropriate in the streets or wherever we go. And I felt like if he was raised better, he would know that's not how you approach someone on any given day or time.
I think it's partially society, the way they look at, you know, young black minorities in certain neighborhoods. It's the way we portray everywhere. Like when you see us on TV and movies, like we always the criminals.
I blame the system for this. Like, I blame like capitalism for this, because cops protect property, and we live in a hierarchical society that suggests that like certain people's lives are more valuable based on the amount of property they own, or based on their race, or based on their gender.
If they were more strict and they were actually punishing police officers for this type of behavior, everyone would get their act together and act appropriate and do what they are called to do as a police officer.
The citizens of Philadelphia and the citizens of the United States need to have like independent control over the policing that goes on in their neighborhoods.
I think the police need to be police. I think they need to have cameras on them. They need to be watched, basically. That's how I see it.
I think in general, Ramsey has been handling a lot of the police misconduct in Philly, how a public relations person would handle it. Not really, let's change the way that we police, or let's not deploy, you know, like 50 white male officers into an all-black community. I
would tell them to hire better officers, put more officers in our community that can relate to us, that know what we went through, you know, know what we go through on a day-to-day basis, instead of throwing people who's not from our community and our neighborhood and don't understand us.
On the morning of May 16, 2010, Special Response Team raided the duplex that I lived in. Officers threw a grenade into my apartment. I was then shot. Officer Joseph Weekly claimed my grandmother grabbed his gun, causing me to be shot. Officer Weekly was charged with involuntary manslaughter. His first trial ended in a mistrial. So did his second. I am 7-year-old Ayanna Jones of Detroit, Michigan.
On March 9th, 2013, I was shot 7 times out of the 11 times that was fired. The police say I pointed a weapon at them. A witness to my shooting said I never had a weapon. My killer was granted no indictment. My name is Kamani Gray. I was 16. I'm from New York City, and I was killed by NYPD.
On December 22nd, 2002, I was drunk at Key West Bar and Grill. 3 officers, Elizabeth Skylar DiDonato, Thomas Berry, and Kenneth Novak, were dispatched to the scene after a 911 call was placed by my concerned friends. One of the officers offered me a courtesy ride to my house, a ride that doesn't come without strings attached for members of the trans community. At 3:25 a.m., I left the vehicle. Minutes later, I was found bleeding and unconscious in the middle of the street. I was left on the scene for 40 minutes. I was taken to the hospital and died at 8:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve of a wound that could only have come from the butt of a gun. My name is Naza Morris. I was a 47-year-old transgender woman. I was from Philadelphia, and officers of the Philadelphia Police Force killed me.
On March 15, 2012, after not taking my meds for my schizophrenia, I had become emotionally distraught. After an argument with my mother, my sister called 311 hoping for an ambulance. Instead, 4 police officers arrived. They chased me through my home. All 4 cops pinned me down as they handcuffed me. I stopped breathing soon after and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The coroners reported that I died of compression of trunk during agitated violent behavior. When the police dragged their feet on releasing records of my incident, my family filed a lawsuit against them. I am Sharice Francis, I am 37 years old, and I was killed by the New York Police Department.
On January 4th, 2008, I was at home with my boyfriend when the SWAT team bursted through the door. They intended to arrest my boyfriend, but instead shot me to death. Sergeant Joe Shavala, the cop who shot me, was charged with negligent homicide and negligent assault, but was acquitted. My family was given $2.5 million in wrongful death. I am Tanika Wilson. I was killed in Lima, Ohio when I was 26.
I was walking to my basketball game with my high school basketball team on Broad and Girard, where a police car drove by and one of my friends said a smart remark to a police officer. The police officer began walking towards us and my friends ran away, but I kept on walking because I wasn't a suspect of any crime. A female officer came to pat me down as if I was being arrested. She grabbed, squeezed, and then pulled my private parts, and then I felt something pop. I was in excruciating pain. I suffered a ruptured testicle. I went into surgery the following day, and now I'm in a wheelchair as I recover. As a young teen looking forward to a bright future, I am now unable to have children. My name is Darian Manning. I am 17 years old, and I was brutalized by a Philadelphia police officer.
On December 15, 2014, 2 police officers stopped me on Frankfurt Avenue near McGee, allegedly because I was driving a 2014 Dodge Charger with my headlights off. The officer said that I resisted being handcuffed, violently struggled with them, and then lunged for a handgun inside my car, and said that I was prompting one of the officers to shoot me. But surveillance footage says otherwise. The footage shows that my car headlights were on, and my family said that they believe I was being stopped for driving while being black. My family disputed. The police officers claimed that I had a gun in the car and suggested it was planted. A nearby store has the entire footage on tape, but the police department refuses to make that public. My name is Brandon Tate Brown. I'm from Philadelphia, and when I was 26 years old, I was killed by Philadelphia police.
On May 16, 2003, in New York City, police barged into my home with the assumption of drugs and guns inside. After a concussion grenade was thrown, I suffered from a heart attack and died. In replacement of my death, my family received $1.6 million as a settlement for a wrongful death. My name is Alberta Sproul. I am 57 years old. But is that all I am worth?